Preview.
It took the notably opinionated Donald Trump 2 full days to denounce the chilling violence and white supremacists that went down in Charlottesville over the weekend, which thousands of ordinary civilians, and even his daughter Ivanka, decried almost immediately. But when it comes to trivial matters, whether as president or as an ordinary civilian, Trump has historically never had a problem with sharing his views about anything, from Zoolander to Kristen Stewart. Trump addressed the latter back in 2012 when, suddenly appearing to consider himself an authority on the actress' relationship with her Twilight co-star Robert Pattinson, he posted a series of tweets that stretched over 3 days, accusing Stewart of treating Pattinson like a dog, and advising the latter to be smart and dump her. Oh, and as evidence for his sudden expertise on the subject, he simply asked, "Am I ever wrong?" It took both Stewart and Pattinson 5 full years to acknowledge the tweets, though the delay, as Stewart pointed out in her own response hours after Trump's inauguration earlier this year, wasn't totally without cause at that point. He was just, like, a reality TV star. I had no reference. It wasn't like really a thing, she said when asked about President's comments at the Sundance Film Festival. When someone reminded her of Trump's tweets during his campaign for presidency, though, it all came back. "He was mad at me a couple years ago, really obsessed with me a couple years ago, which is crazy," she said in a statement. She acknowledged he was also probably going to tweet about a photographic guide to everyone Kristen Stewart has dated. Fast forward about 6 months later, and it's now Pattinson's turn to offer his take on the whole thing, which he did to Entertainment Weekly while promoting his new film Good Time last Friday, but first with a warning. "Sorry, I'm just about totally brain dead. I've crapped out today. This is going to be interesting," Pattinson initially told the reporter, before continuing to describe his anxiety during interviews, in part because he's editing a lot in his head as the interviews go on, and then I end up saying some dumb stuff. All that started back in his Twilight days, though Pattinson admitted that even now that he's in his Robnescence, he struggles when speaking with the media. "I'm gripped by this perverse urge to say the opposite of what I'm supposed to say. It's like a goblin dancing in my head, and it keeps happening to me in interview after interview after interview." All that served to foreshadow his long-delayed response to the president. "I think there's so many different levels of it. Your identity exists on many different planes at the same time, and they all can be quite different from each other." When he said that, "It didn't really mean anything," Pattinson said when asked if it was somewhat surreal that the current president once tweeted about him. "But I guess now I'm sort of thinking, like, well, I guess that is related to me. But how does that fit in with all the other things going on in my life? And sometimes you think, can I use this in my acting, or should I be putting it away? It's kind of interesting, I guess. I don't know, this could be why people get annoyed with me," Pattinson continued, apparently not self-editing this time around. In short, his words were not exactly the most illuminating, but also not too bad on the level of Pattinson's history with interviews. At least he got through this one without suggesting he and the reporter do ayahuasca and/or get fecal transplants. Related, Robert Pattinson goes on a hot dog quest in new short film Kristen Stewart takes W's screen test.